What's going on, everybody? Trev Wilson here. Welcome back to the Bourbon Wrench. Today, we're going to be doing a good old-fashioned bourbon review. Today's bottle, we're going to be talking about Bardstown Bourbon Company Discovery Series Batch 6. So, if you guys aren't familiar with Bardstown Bourbon Company, you need to be. They are obviously out of Bardstown, and they have been making some incredible, delicious whiskey. They're making waves in the industry. They have just been absolutely crushing it. And with everything that they do, it's just good. The Discovery Series is a step above their Fusion Series, which is kind of their standard bourbon. Discovery, step above, a little bit higher end stuff. The Discovery Series is all about blending. They take several barrels from multiple different distilleries, they blend them together, and they just create the best thing possible. I think that's my favorite thing about Bardstown Bourbon Company is that they don't rely on some gimmicky story. It's not about my great uncle who had the secret to life and he translated it into a bourbon recipe and it was the best bourbon ever. But then he died and he lost it. But we found it and we recreated it. Here's our bourbon. No, none of that crap. It's just some dudes and some ladies who said, you know what, we should just make some really good bourbon. And that's what they're doing. Making good bourbon. It's all about tasting good. So again, Discovery Series, all about blending. They're very transparent. They throw everything on the side of the bottle. The percentage of each blend, where it came from, what state it came from, how old it is, and the mash bill. So the Discovery 6, what is in it? 68% of the blend is from Kentucky. It's an 11-year-old whiskey, 75% corn, 13% rye, 12% malted barley. I believe that's a Jim Beam mash bill and a Wild Turkey mash bill. So it's either from Jim Beam or Wild Turkey. Again, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter where it comes from as long as it tastes good. Which leads to the next portion of the blend. 16% of this is a Tennessee whiskey, 17-year-old, 84% corn, 8% rye, 8% malted barley. That is in fact a Dickel. That's right, Dickel mash bill is in here. Like I said though, it doesn't matter where it came from as long as it tastes good. I think this is a good segue into the Bardstown Bourbon Company Batch 5. It had a lot of Dickel. It had a lot more than 16% Dickel in it, and I think people didn't really receive that as well. I think Dickel's mash bill is a very strong mash bill. It kind of shines through and blends a bit more. So with that one, to me, when I tried the Batch 5, it was a little too Dickel-y, and I think a lot of people kind of felt the same, and they kind of just wrote it off. That being said, they see Dickel in this one, and they kind of say, oh no, not more Dickel, but, you know, give it a fair chance. It's all about how it's blended in there, so we'll see. And then, to wrap it all up, 16% of this is a 7-year, out of Indiana, 75% corn, 21% rye, 4% malted barley. That's MGP, so that's what makes this bottle up. Let's smell it, let's taste it, let's see what it's all about. There we go. Alright, let's get right into it. Bardstown Bourbon Company Discovery 6. That is absolutely incredible. I will say, right off the bat, that I am getting no presence of Dickel. I know, right off the bat, people are going to want to know, how Dickel-y is it? Well, on the nose, I'm not getting a Dickel vibe from this at all. So rest assured, the Dickel haters, you know, I know you don't want to give Dickel a chance, but I'm not getting it in here. Tons and tons of vanilla though. It's like a bakery, pie making. I'm almost getting like a cinnamon graham cracker, like a Teddy Graham, you know, the little bear, the bear Teddy Graham. That, but the cinnamon flavor. And you can definitely get the age on this. You're getting tons of this perfect amount of oak. And again, I think one of the cool things is since they put the breakdown on the bottle, you can look at this and see, you can kind of break apart what you're smelling, what you're getting, and you can kind of get inside of their head of why they did what they did. So I'm getting tons of older product, like the 17-year-old, the Dickel, you're getting that age, you're getting those notes from an aged bourbon. but it's not too oaky. It's not over the top. You can tell why they kind of balance that out with the 11-year. It just makes for a pleasant nosing experience. Everything about this is amazing. I forgot to mention, this is 55.55% alcohol, 111.1 proof. And, you know, it smells spicy. It smells like it's got a little punch to it, you know. It's getting cold. I want something to warm me up a little bit. Little bit of cherry there on the back note, too. On the very back of the nose, it's like this little hint of cherry, like a dark cherry shining through. Overall, the nose is just stellar to me. It's just a perfect nose. I'm also kind of getting this mustiness, like a dusty quality, which is something I always say about Wild Turkey, so I don't know if I'm leaning towards thinking that 68% of this mash bill, that Kentucky, the 11-year-old Kentucky, is from Wild Turkey. It gives me a Wild Turkey vibe to it, but again, it doesn't really matter what it is. It smells good, so let's taste it. Let's see if all of this translates to the palate, because guess what? That's the only thing that matters. Does it taste good? Here we go. In brief summary, if you just want to end the video here, the answer is yes, it tastes good. All right, for everyone else who wants to stick around as to why I think it tastes good, let's go. First and foremost, again, for all of the Dickel naysayers, I know you're watching this. I will say I'm getting a little more Dickel. I can find the Dickel on the palate, whereas on the nose, I really couldn't at all. That being said, though, it's not over the top at all. It's almost just on the very back end. Like on the back side of my tongue is that Dickel note. Now everyone says Dickel minerality. I never really got Flintstone vitamin note. My brain doesn't really comprehend that. I just know that the Dickel that I've tried, they all have like a similar note to them. That's kind of what I'm getting on this. I have a 17-year-old Dickel store pick, and there's something on that I'm getting here, but it's very subtle. It's very blended in the back of the palate. All right, I don't want to make this a Dickel show, but I know you guys are going to want to know. So that's the Dickel portion out of the way. Let's go back. Let's see what else this has to offer. Tons of this, almost like a dark cherry, okay? A dark cherry. Tons of vanilla. You know, the best way to explain this, and Jason C. from the Mash and Drum, when we tried this at Bardstown Bourbon Company, he kept saying, this is like a Yankee Candle. This is a edible version of a Yankee Candle. That's pretty much what it is. When it's fall time, the leaves are changing, it's cold out, Thanksgiving's coming up, you're making pie, cherry pies, and all of this pie. Here we go again with the pie. You know I love the pie. Let's go back into it. There's just so much cinnamon, so much vanilla, that dark cherry. It reminds me that we're making a cherry pie. The proof, I feel like, is perfect. It's not too much. It's not really challenging me, but then again, it's still full of flavor. It's not like it's watered down or anything. I think it's just at the perfect little balance of, I can just crush this thing. And again, I think the Dickel, the 17-year-old Dickel, they kind of blended, they balanced it out a lot better than they did the Discovery 5. They're taking the positive notes that people like about the Dickel, they're blending it in a lot better. They're taking the good from all of these different whiskeys in here, and they're kind of just pushing out the bad. That's just a sign of good blenders. They know what they're doing. They know how to take the strengths of something and mixing it with the strengths of another and getting rid of the things that people don't like about them. I think that 7-year-old MGP kind of brings this out of being too oaky or just too aged. It kind of keeps it fresh. It's keeping it a little spicier, you know. You're getting a little bit of the youthfulness. You know, 7's not youthful, but when you're throwing it up against an 11-year-old and a 17-year-old, it can start getting dark. The dark oak, burnt notes. This is a way to keep it fresh, keep it kind of alive. Okay, put my final thoughts on it. It's just the perfect fall bourbon. I think it's perfect proof for when it starts getting a little colder out. It's not too cold, okay? I don't need to go 130 proof, but it's getting colder. I want something a little higher up there. The notes that it's giving me is all those baking spices, just Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving in a glass. I typically drink wild turkey during Thanksgiving, and if this is a wild turkey mash bill, then it's just destiny. But this might be my new Thanksgiving pour. This is just everything that I love about fall, about November. This is November in a glass. Everything I love about it is in here. Those dark notes, dark cinnamons, those dark oaks. This is taking some of that oakiness from the 17-year-old Dickel, from that 11-year-old, those baking spices, the tons of vanilla, tons of cherry, graham cracker in there too, mixed in with a little bit of that 7-year-old MGP, brighten it up a little bit, get a little punch to it. This is just a winner to me. So final thoughts on this. This bottle cost me $130 something around there. Totally worth it. I absolutely love this bottle. I will say I am one of those people who did not like the Discovery 5. It's not that I didn't like it, it's just I would not have wanted to pay $130 for that bottle. This one, I'm happy that I bought this. Like, this is so good. Absolutely love it. It's just an exceptional whiskey. I think Bardstown Bourbon Company is killing it, and this blend kind of shows it. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They know how to take something. They know how to take 3 different barrels and blend them into something incredible. So, hats off to them. Again, I will say this is probably in the top of my list for just the best fall bourbons ever. There we have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you've tried this yet, let me know what you think of it. If you tried the batch 5, okay, if you tried Discovery 5, let me know. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Why didn't you like it? Was it too dickly? Are you scared to get the 6 because of that? Let me know. Let's discuss. Comment down below. Hit the like button on your way out of here. If you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification, be notified when I go live on Fridays, when I drop new videos. If you want to support me more, click the little description box. There's all sorts of links for everything you want to know. And until next time, guys, I'm Trev Wilson. I'll see you in the next video.